You're listening to the AV-IT Amplifier. Each week, we'll feature voices and ideas that need to be amplified in the higher education and pro-AV IT communities. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. And now here's your host, Ryan Gray.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in again to the Amplifier this week. I am your host, Ryan, and if it is Wednesday, you know we have new content available for you, and we are live, sort of actually live, since this is going to turn around really quick, at the Arizona Audio Video Expo. And I am here with somebody I've known quite a while, and somebody I would call a friend. So, Mr. Scales, would you please introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are and what you do.
Okay, yeah. Hey, I'm Jordan Scales. I work for Crestron Electronics. I'm a AV nerd, technologist, love to make things work and build relationships.
That's a pretty good answer. And we're done. Well done. That was perfect.
Cut.
Perfect. So, how do we know each other?
Wow. So, did we meet at Ford AV?
Maybe, but I don't know. I can't remember that far
Maybe
back.
I just met Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely the relationship started growing the most at Crestron.
Yeah.
So we, like any new job, I'm reaching out to customers saying, hey, who am I going to talk to? Well, let's go up to Yavapai. It's probably in the middle of summer, so
yeah. Exactly.
We hung out a couple times, and I always thought, out of all the schools, Yavapai was the one that did the most with the least amount.
Yeah.
And I found it to be like a poster child of what you could do with Crestron equipment if you have your stuff in line and you build the right team. So I always enjoyed working with you guys, and you knew your stuff, and you were fun, and you kind of always showed me cool new things that you were doing. So the relationship built from there.
I would agree. Yeah. So you and I have talked a lot over the years about kind of, and not to jump too into it right away, but how you see your job in being a representative of the company, in particular in A+, right? An A+ rep, an education-focused person.
Right.
And of all of the people in the industry that I've talked to, I will undoubtedly say I think your philosophy on that is the best and has been the most effective for me in my school.
That's
so
awesome.
if you had to summarize a little, how do you, when you say, you describe yourself, I like to connect things, I like to make things work, I like to, yeah. But how do you see yourself in terms of your role as an A+ representative, and how does that differ from maybe how you see reps from other companies go about their work?
Oh, yeah, well.
Boom. Go, answer that one.
I don't like salespeople.
Yeah.
I never have. So I came from a programming background, I came from a wire pulling background, I came from a get your hands dirty, and quite honestly, I don't like to sell.
Yeah.
I like to make things work. So my philosophy when I came into Crestron was, if I am going to sell something, I need to love, it just needs to be something I'm passionate about, because then I don't have to sell it. I just have to talk about stuff I like.
Yeah.
And I always looked at it as, well, find out what they need, find out where there's pain points, find out how you can solve problems for them, and do that. And while you're doing that, if you see a thing that might be something you could sell, mention it. But I don't mention it to sell it. I just mention it because this might solve your problem.
Yeah.
And if that thing may solve your problem but really won't, and I know that, I'm gonna tell you don't buy it, because I don't care about the quick dollar.
Right.
I want the relationship, and I want to make sure you guys have the best experience possible with Crestron. And I would say that for any company I work for, but quite honestly, if I were to leave Crestron, I wouldn't work anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm out, because I can't. I love this company.
Right.
I really do. So.
Well, and I love the way you articulate that. Like you said, just ask it and you'll answer it. That was pretty straightforward. In fact, that's everyone says the beginning part of what you just said, which is I'm here to solve a problem that you have.
Right.
And then usually they tell me what my problem is so that they can sell me their solution for it.
Right.
And my experience working with you has been not that, which is here's an idea, I think this can solve your problem, or dude, you know what I'm saying, this thing may not do that.
Let me find out.
Yeah.
This one thing I feel like it might, but I gotta verify.
So how do you get away with that in Crestron then, by the way? You know what I'm saying?
I'm good at hiding that in company meetings.
Well, not anymore. I mean, not like the audience of this show is huge, but
I
you know
doubt
what I'm
it.
saying.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm successful at what I do, so they don't really bother too much about that. And the guy that hired me already knew that this was my style.
Yeah.
And he was cool with it, and he kind of protected me and gave me some answers to tests along the way to make sure I followed a certain code within Crestron that kept me alive.
Right.
And it's worked. And every now and then, you'll get the, hey man, we need X.
Right.
We got to get this in. And I'll make my calls. Hey man, well, we got a deal.
Yeah.
We got something going on. We're trying to, I'll let you know straight up. Hey, we're trying to move some product or something. We can make a deal. No? Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
But I'm here if you need me. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's all about taking care of people, having good energy. And if you could do that, it just comes back. It comes back. Yeah, it's interesting how that works.
No, it's been fun to watch that with you because it definitely, like I said, I'll literally turn this into, let's have Ryan talk about Jordan all afternoon.
Oh, come on.
But why don't we actually ask some questions instead of doing that? But it is the sort of thing where I know if I have something I need to know, I can ask.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to get, oh yeah, that would be great. Oh yeah, perfect. Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, right.
And that level of honesty, I think, opens up the ability to feel like you are helping me, you are helping my students by helping me and my team.
Right.
So let's turn that into a question.
Sure.
When you talked before about like you want to build the relationship.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Whew. Like, okay. Well, I want you, in terms of building a relationship, like what am I trying to get out of it, or what is a built relationship look like?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from start to finish, first you got to trust me, right? First you got to have that understanding, like you said, I'm not going to BS you. I'm just going to say, hey, don't buy my DSPs anymore. They're not good. Hey, Jordan, how's your DSPs?
We've had that conversation.
We've had that conversation, right? And that builds trust, right? Because I'm not just trying to sell you things. The ability to be able to call and say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And you'll do that to me, I'll do that to you, and we actually care about each other. Like, I want to see you do good in life. I like seeing your successes, truly. And I feel like you the same, right? That's part of the relationship. Being Johnny on the spot, right? Like, hey man, I really need this. Okay, I'm really on it. And I really try to do that, right? Yeah. And when it's all said and done, if you lead with an open heart, right, and you really want to help people, and you're honest, and you enjoy what you do, the relationships just get built.
Yeah.
Just don't be full of shit. Can you curse on here?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool.
Or so let's put it this way.
Don't overdo it.
Yeah, but don't be full of shit is like be genuine a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like be who you are in your role at work and look at what might happen. You know what I'm saying? But
100%.
I think it takes a lot of bravery to do that.
It can, because sometimes I TMI and I'm like, okay, wait. Maybe don't do that one.
Right.
Maybe don't say that one anymore. You're exposing some of your faults too much. But at the end of the day, I can also say, well, that is who I am, and I'm not. It's not like that makes me a bad person or whatever. I just messed up, and
Right.
I'm willing to admit it. Right.
Well, but that's a huge part of it too. Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and that can go both ways.
Sure.
So, one of the things that that I talk about, and we've talked a little bit about, is I'm sure every industry is like this, but in the AV industry being set up sort of like, there's this order of things, right? And
Yeah.
manufacturers and resellers, dealers, distributors,
Yeah.
integrators, end users, right?
Yeah.
And that the thought is, right, that, well, the manufacturers, they are the ones that are supposed to be taking these people out to lunch, and these people out to lunch, yada, yada, yada. And like the end user is, we're just sitting here at the end of the chain, and because, you know what I'm saying, technically some spend we have is, you know what I'm saying, whatever,
Right.
like that the whole industry needs us more than we need them until certain things happen, like, pandemics or, supply chain things or other than that, and all of a sudden you can see you can see in the industry, like those of us that have to deliver technology for teachers and students or our true end users,
Yes.
are as dependent or more dependent upon manufacturers,
Right.
to make great stuff for us to do that with.
That's reliable.
Right, that's reliable. That does what it says and all that and
Right.
that sort of thing. So.
And we can deliver it.
And you can deliver, or if you can't deliver it, you can say that you can't deliver
Right.
it, which is
Yeah. And that was a hard one.
well, we can rehash that one to the
Sure.
end, but oh my God, I feel like that one's talked out a little bit. But
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
we've
don't
probably
have
been
to.
over that on a bunch
Yeah.
of calls, right? Yeah.
So, to try, I'm trying to take that and turn. I'm not that good at turning things into questions, as you can
That's
now
fine.
see.
That's
but
all right.
when as someone who works for a manufacturer,
Yeah.
when you see things happening inside Crestron, or you're looking at things, how do you go about taking the those problems you think your end users are seeing to influence what is happening in the company, and vice versa? How do you try and help your end users you work with understand the direction things are going so that they can stay up on what they need to know?
Right, and maybe design to that,
To the
like,
future
hey, this is where
instead
we
of-
see things going.
Yeah.
You might want to take a look at this. Well, for one, in terms of me talking to my company, a lot of times I'll go to the first boss in the chain and
Yeah.
say, hey, about that, and it could go to nowhere from that point. And so I do know, I guess there's relationships that need to be built within a company as well, which you can call sales too, where
Right.
you need to make the right relationships to where you could say, hey, this thing doesn't do this, and
Right.
if it did do this, here's an idea,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people may want it because of that. But let's talk to an engineer and see what they say. Well, and then you start those calls and kind of get the wheels greased. A lot of times,
Yeah.
in a company that's of our size, they want to understand what the ROI is.
Correct.
And so I kind of make that up.
But I think I want you to continue that, but it's an important thing to everyone's got an idea, I need this thing here.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing about end users taking the rest of it for granted. Yeah, great, but
How many are you going to buy?
A company can't make a whole thing to sell 12,
Right.
or 20, or 100, or 1,000.
100%.
Right? It has to sell tons to make it worth it.
100%. And I mean, and if I am presenting it to them, I'm doing it in a way because I have a gut feeling or I have an understanding based off of you guys want it. There's probably 1,000 other schools that would use it if we can present it to them properly and show them that it's there.
Right.
And most of the time things don't happen that way, but most of my, hey, we need to do this or do that is partnerships or trying to bring in other companies that can, hey, say, work with our products, like
Right.
in scheduling or things of that nature. Or it's just, hey, wish you could do this. Well, that's coming.
Right.
Okay, good. When?
Yeah.
And then try to just stoke the fire. Hey, we got people that want this done ASAP, and it's a whole chain of trying to get them to move.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to you guys understanding what our technology does, first things first is I got to understand what it does.
Yeah.
My house is
wired up.
Wired up, man. I got a lot going on. It's probably caused me some issues with the radio frequencies bouncing around. I have a feeling that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because when I'm in my office, after about 4 hours, I need to go outside.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's fans and buzzing and RF, and probably ain't good for me.
Right.
But I play with things, and I really have a hard time talking about something until I've kind of vetted it and tested it, and I know how it works, so that I can kind of come up with an idea. Hey, if you're doing it this way, like DMPSs or point-to-point, well, how can we do this with AV over IP? And, you know, kind of draw it out, bring it to you guys, or sometimes just have a conversation like AV over IP, blah, blah, blah. Here's some designs that we've seen, or here's some schools that have done it this way. And then usually you guys start coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And say, here's what we're thinking. And, okay, well, would that work? Let me find out. Or, yeah, that actually sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
I like what you're thinking. And then that one goes as a feather in my hat for the next guy.
Right.
Like, these guys have done that, and you just try to kind of share the love and hope everybody gets as much information as possible.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of my end users are more communicative to me than others.
Right.
So they get a lot more information because, you know, they kind of do the back and forth, where others won't, and, you know, you don't really know where to lead them because they don't talk enough.
Right.
And that's just some personalities, right? So, yeah.
But yeah, I think your work in kind of cross-pollinating for schools has been really cool. You know, some of the first people that I got to meet from other schools was because of things you put together, of things that you organized, and like, you need to meet this person, you need to talk to that person, and that sort of thing.
I love that.
So I know, I mean, probably you could say that you were HETMA before HETMA. I mean, we could probably claim
we had those
that.
calls.
Yeah.
We were doing beers and gears on happy hours from our houses.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But like, that's been such an important part, I think, of what we
connecting people.
Yeah, we get to steal and borrow from each other all the time.
That's probably one of the most amazing parts about my job is all of my customers aren't worried about making a profit.
Right.
Like a dealer would be.
Yeah.
You guys are worried about creating the right solution.
Yeah.
And you're also open to sharing that solution, unlike a dealer would be, where they close it up and say, no, this is our idea. This is, you know, our intellectual property. But that's not the case in this realm that we're in, which I like that a lot. I don't think I could be a rep for dealers after repping with
Higher A. So that was on my list to ask that question, which is the being focused on the education market and the luxury of luxury or whatever, but it's
a luxury.
Yeah, but because of that, I think it lends itself a little more to being able to be genuine and make connections and do that sort of thing because
it's not about the numbers. I mean, when it comes, there's budgets, but it's not like how much money can we make, and you guys aren't so much how much money can we save, or you would be using stuff that isn't great because you'd be budget conscious too much, and then you pay for it twice a year later, right? That's happened.
Yeah, but making that case has been an important thing. I think like that's a whole side tangent we could go down, but the idea of like, you know, when technically you can have two boxes from two manufacturers that in theory do the same thing, but what are the long-term hidden costs of replacement or network security things and other things that come into it? That
how's the configuration? How do you manage it? How do you program it? Can it work with other things? There's so much to that equation, and once again, you know, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid from Crestron since way before they paid me.
Right, yeah.
So this was an easy gig to get paid to do.
All right. The other thing on like both kind of helping your customer stay up on things and connecting people is you've been organizing now a lot of training.
Yeah.
Yes, in our area especially, where we used to have a Crestron office in Arizona and we don't anymore. And one of the ways you've responded is by organizing trainings here at schools and getting people together regionally to get some of the training that we used to be able to come down to Phoenix for. So
Right.
how did that start? How has that been going for you so far?
That's been going really good. And my company's really liking that I'm putting the effort in to do this because
Making an announcement. This is what happens when you record live
When
at
you
events.
record-
We've
right.
done it before.
at an event with some guy that just wants to jibber jabber
All the time,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay, training.
Training. So yeah, when we moved out of that Phoenix office, I knew I got trained in that Phoenix office.
Yeah.
I'm like, this place was awesome. Well, we got Texas, California. I'm like, guys, these are schools.
Right.
Where are they going to get that money from to do that? Oh, they can get points and stuff. That's just not feasible, right? And we're in this, was my last quarterly business review. I'm like, guys, we're in this new phase where the dudes with the ponytails are retiring.
Yep.
And we need to train a new generation of techs and technicians and programmers. I went to my boss's boss. What can we do to do this? Well, let me see how we can get training more involved. And he kind of made that effort from a high level to say we could start doing trainings and bring them wherever we want. Initially, to do that, it would take that whole giant use case of how much is it going to make us? How much is this? How much is that? How much is this? And it turned into no. Training is our priority.
Right.
Who are we doing it for? Okay. How many people we need you to put 12 people in those seats for us to be good? Okay. I can promise that.
Yeah.
And then, all right, let's start them. I get people in there. Now they give me more reign to do more, and they will continue to give me more reign to grow that. So, I mean, I'm going to bring all the trainings.
Yeah.
P101, P201, P301. We're doing the One Beyond training.
Yeah.
I know it's valuable, and doing interactive training, we all have Zoom fatigue. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's not fun to train that way. I can't do it anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna Charlie Brown's mom this thing where wah wah wah,
right,
and it just doesn't stick. So, and to me, it's a great way to do the same thing that we were just talking about: connect people.
Yeah.
Like it's another not marketing. Kind of like a happy hour.
Yeah.
People get to know each other.
Correct. Yeah. And I think, like, the commitment to training is huge, right?
Yes.
And for our people, like, not to monologue on it, but right, Yavapai College and Tom starting this before me, the idea of our people are going to be trained. We're going to be an in-house integrator. We're not going to pretend to do it. We're actually going to do it.
Right.
And we're going to be certified at the highest levels that we can get to, which we've been able to carry over.
Yes.
But like
you got a new gen.
Right, but we got a new generation, right?
Yeah.
Got people that I'm not programming anymore, right? You know what I'm saying? We have, and even some of the other, but all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, I've got this training, and instead of me having to send my technician level people to California or Texas,
right, now
it's happening 45 minutes away from us.
That's a lot easier.
Who's coming to that next one? Well, it's what I'm saying, people in their 20s. It's my new and enthusiastic people. It's
exactly
that, like I said, it's that next generation.
And for all we know, it's the next guys that 20 years from now are going to be in your
correct. That's my goal, is to make them that.
Right.
So that's what that relationship. It's an exact, when we talk about like kind of end users needing to be symbiotic.
Yeah.
People involved in the health of the industry.
Right.
Part of our goal has to be, if we're in higher ed, we're around some of the younger people. We have student workers. Bring them in, get them connected into the whole industry.
Everything, and the more they're trained, the more they're going to fall in love with it. The more they're going to stay.
Correct. And feel empowered to do it and not be dependent, I think, is key. And then for companies, right, like, make their first real and I think this is a real thing, and you do a good job of it. Crestron does it, and not to make this a Crestron commercial.
Yeah.
I get nothing other than, well, happy hours every once in a while.
Every now and then, right.
I've never been waiting for that kickback check. It's never
It ain't
showed
coming,
up.
dude.
It's not. But that idea that to give an experience of the first time I really understood this, or the first time I really felt like I could do this, was with Crestron stuff.
Yeah.
Was in that ecosystem, in that thing.
We do a really good training.
Right, and you're building, it's why, everybody talks about, Apple doesn't discount for anybody except education. Why?
Right.
They want you learning on that thing so
Yes.
that you use it for a career.
For a career.
So that
100%.
That's why I think that as opposed to other places, which is, like you said, well, we have our online training, and a 25-year-old wants to sit and watch online videos of training,
No, it's a checking the box.
Yeah.
When you do it online, you're like, okay, my boss said to do this. All right, play, mute. I'll put all the questions into ChatGPT after.
Exactly.
And
You're
I
just
passed
doing it to do it, and you're not.
You don't got anything. You didn't get anything out of it.
We run colleges with classrooms. We traffic in the value of in-person, participatory,
100%. Butts in seat.
experiential learning.
Yes.
Why on earth would we?
Right.
Why would we look for training of our people that doesn't at least meet the standard that we're trying to deliver to? How did I get on a whole monologue here? Now I'm like yelling at you.
You're not yelling at me.
But
yeah.
Those are the kind of conversations we can have sometimes.
We can.
We get going back and forth on it.
Yeah, we can rant.
You know what I'm saying? When values
love it.
align, we can get going a little bit. Okay. All right. So time's flying. Before the first episode is done.
flying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Wow. Yeah, it is fun.
One of the things that in the world of Hetman, the things we've done is we started the Higher Ed AV Awards.
Oh.
And one of the things, it's a lot of work, and there's some stuff that goes into it.
Hetman in general.
Well, dude, tell me about that. But one of the things I like about the awards is it focuses, there's a huge focus on people.
Yeah.
And it, we have it's like higher the manager of the year and things out of higher ed.
Yeah.
But we made sure to be able to recognize other things, which is like the rep of the year, and one of the awards is Higher Ed AV Ally of the Year, which I love the way that we did that, because it gives that same thing as our vertical or in higher ed, right? We need allies throughout the industry
100%.
to help both, assert higher ed as a force to be reckoned with, or as a buying power, but also to help to have people that are out there dedicated to helping schools be successful.
Right.
And
connecting you to other schools that are successful.
Exactly.
Right.
And that idea of the word of ally, like someone that has your back.
Yes.
So as an A+ rep, when you think about your role in, do you consider yourself someone that is an ally of people doing AV in higher ed?
Absolutely. Oh, I couldn't. Yeah. I mean, I want to see everybody in this industry succeed. Any one of my customers, I want to succeed. I mean, even the ones that don't buy my stuff.
Yeah.
I'd rather they buy my stuff.
Right.
But I want to see them all succeed, because you guys are, you're teaching the next generation.
Yeah.
And the technology, most people in the EDU space do it because they like it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that passion. It's easy to be allies to you guys, but yeah, I don't need the detail on it, I guess, but yeah, I definitely feel like I'm an ally.
Well, I do. All right, then.
I appreciate it.
All right, I'll ask you a hypothetical. Let's
Okay.
say one of your customers is doing this, going through and doing a giant firmware update project, right? And they have like 3 or 4 that just won't stick. And how would you, as a rep, respond to that?
Let's see, do you got some time? Let me look at my calendar.
Let me stop. All right, fine. Let me ask you this question. Would you say, hey, can you get me access to your network and let me see if I can take a look at it?
100%.
Would you, even after doing that and having trouble, say, hey, I'm going to come up to your campus and see what I can do for you?
Absolutely.
So,
I've done it plenty of times.
Yeah, you've done it. We have an office that is, we still refer to as Jordan's office, because, you know what I'm saying?
I love doing that.
I know, Nick was just banging his head against the thing, and we're like, hey, let's see if Jordan can help.
Yeah. I can help.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there tomorrow morning.
I know of this issue, and I feel really bad that you have to deal with it. Let me help, because it's BS that you have to update so many freaking boxes.
Yeah.
And let me help you, man. Yeah.
What?
I love that. I actually really like, that's probably my favorite part of my job, is tearing my hair out with you guys.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, then let me put it this way. Do you think by doing that, you sold more Crestron stuff?
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
100%. Yeah, because that's part of the relationship.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of the trust, that's part of the relationship, that's part of the, he's not going to BS us.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to see us succeed, and I didn't say, yeah, those boxes are screwed, why don't you just buy these new ones?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's like, no, we'll get them working. And if not, I'll make sure they're sending you new ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had to call True Blue support
Right, that's
for
what I'm
years,
saying.
and I'm like, I had to, hey, take me up.
Yeah, escalate me up.
Escalate me right.
Yeah, you got to live in our world. For
Exactly. I'm like, give me a real guy. Come on, get me out of India.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, it's always like, I tell people that, and you and I have talked about it a lot of times, but I love it because I think a key part of leadership, right, is I never ask somebody to do something I wouldn't be willing to do.
Right.
And I get to brag because I'm coming out of this time period where we were kind of underwater and we lost one of the people on our team and all that, and it was just like, all right, like, I'm back on a ladder, I'm terminating cables, I'm doing it. But then from your side, it was like, oh no, you got that problem, you're down in that ditch, I'm climbing down in there with you. I'm
going there with you, yeah.
Which was just awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really I just did a Friday with Justin at Paradise Valley.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm like, let's get on a call, show me toolbox. All right, let's figure it out. Yeah, like but like I said from the beginning, I like making things work.
Yeah.
So it's truly enjoyable to help people like that.
That's awesome.
Especially if we can get success from it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, a half hour goes by really fast.
It sure does.
And I know we're gonna snag you around for week 2, so don't run away. And then I got to get you back because I stole him from doing his job, like manning his booth down there. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care.
We're having more fun up
Matthew's
here.
down there.
Yeah,
he's a chatty Cathy. He'll take care of it.
Well, Jordan, thank you for being with us this week.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for listening to the AV IT Amplifier. Join us again for next week's episode when we'll welcome a new guest who you'll want to hear from. We promise. Your host has been Ryan Gray. He's on the tweeters at Ryan_A_Gray, or find him on LinkedIn to connect. Please subscribe and give the show a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. This show is brought to you by HigherEdAV.com. The views expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, employers, or sponsors. Everyone hang in there, go easy, and we'll be back next week.